Heading out west for our next conference tournament breakdown, Conference of Champions, the last Pac-12 tournament we're going to get here with Nick once again, looking at the futures market. Nick, Arizona's the best team in this league. Do you think any of these teams jump out as a good value to pick a team other than them to win this tournament?
Yeah, I'd have to go with Colorado. Plus 500 if Cody Williams is playing, of course. I'd love for them to have him. If they don't have him, I'm a little bit more concerned about them. But honestly, bottom side of the bracket it's a much better draw, avoiding Arizona. And my two dark sleepers with a little upside is UCLA and USC. USC's been playing really well lately. UCLA just plays really good defense. So they're avoiding both of the other two dark horses, in my opinion. They'll probably get Utah in their first game. Should have no problem with them. They crushed them at home. Played a really tight one at Utah. And then they'll probably play Washington State, who they have more talent than. Washington State's probably a little bit better overall defensively and stuff. But still, I like Colorado's path a lot. And then they get Arizona in a huge rematch, who everyone bet versus Arizona at home, and Arizona smashed them. They played one of probably the best games I've seen all season from a team. But yeah, minus 160 for Arizona, in my opinion, no real value there. They're very inconsistent in a tournament style of play. I just don't trust them. Even though I still really like Arizona overall. They still could very easily win this conference tournament. They dominated the regular season play. But yeah, I think Colorado plus 500. That's probably my good value shot. How about you?
I agree. I don't the Cody stuff, we just haven't heard anything, right? He is, considering he's a potential top 5 pick in the draft. He's not a guy that really play through. He's just a good player with a ton of upside, right? He defends well, he can get his own, but it's the KJ Simpson runs the show and they play through De Silva and Lampkin. They don't need Cody, but I really think he unlocks their ceiling for a tournament run, right? So I would definitely like to see him. They were missing. They got Hadley back. Or it wasn't Hadley. Someone who was missing.
Hadley's been on a roll though. He's been hot.
Hammond is the guy that hasn't been playing, and I think he's missed some games too. Yeah, Hammond hasn't played, and in this win streak they're on right now, they've won 6 in a row. The one thing so one interesting thing is Arizona State has owned Utah this year. Arizona State's 2-0 against Utah. So does that mean they own them, or does that mean Utah is about to get revenge? It's hard to imagine them beat them 3 times, but what Arizona State does is they've got athletic guards that can pressure the ball, and sometimes Utah really only has one dude that can handle it right now. And I was so high on Utah. Doesn't look like we're ever going to see Raleigh again the rest of this year. So that really knocks their upside. But yeah, that really opens up. Colorado just has a path. I will say, if something funky does happen, dude, I think Cal's kind of good. They've lost 3 in a row, and they've actually been terrible. Okay, I take this back. I didn't follow Cal at the end of the season. They've been a train wreck. But Cal was playing really well in February. I don't know. Is this just us sleeping on Wazoo still? Is Wazoo, plus 500? You're not getting a good enough number. I don't know. You're getting the same number for Wazoo in Colorado. This looks as chalky as it gets. If anything weird happens, it's probably USC beats Arizona, right, and breaks this open.
Right.
I have a tough time thinking Utah's gonna beat a team that beat them twice and then beat Colorado and then have any more juice left in the tank. And then Cal was playing well for a second, but it's been so bad lately. It's hard to get behind them. Stanford's cooked. Wazoo is solid and could maybe benefit from an easy path, but UCLA has too tough a path to make noise. Oregon, the way that they play with pace, Arizona's just them, but way better.
Oregon's trash. They're bad.
I think USC is the team that can spice this up.
Yeah, there's a lot of trash in the Pac-12. That's why there's not a lot of good value for a long shot here. I think USC is way better than Washington. I think Arizona State doesn't have Jose Perez anymore. So back to the Utah point, I would look to bet Utah there. Yeah, I do think it's chalky. I think UCLA could beat Oregon possibly. I think USC can beat Zona, but the thing is, they just beat them this past weekend. For them to beat them back to back.
Easy though.
What's that?
They beat him easy.
They did. It's just back to back is,
Yeah.
That's like really tough. Like that's why there's no real value on them, even though they're 25-1. I'm pretty sure if they lost to Arizona, they would have been the 11th seed. So they would have been where Arizona State is. In my opinion, they probably would have been better off just losing to Arizona on Saturday. But of course, they win and cover convincingly. So now they're going to get an Arizona team who wants to crush them. But yeah, it does feel like a chalk bracket to me as well.
Can I bring up something I tweeted on February 29th at 1:26 p.m.? I said this, predicting right now that Arizona will rip through the Pac-12 tournament, get a 1 seed, and then lose their Sweet 16 matchup. I said, like, is there any resistance in this tournament? Are they going to look like world beaters, win the title game over Colorado by 15, and then everyone's going to be like, ooh, Arizona, and then they're going to do what they've done the last few tournaments and not live up to their talent? When the lights shine the brightest, I definitely think that could happen. I think Arizona is really good. Like, the fact that they're bringing Lewis and Bradley off the bench, like, to have that much juice off the bench is crazy. And like, I always think Larson and Boswell are better than they get credit for. Ballo is an absolute load. Keyshawn Johnson went from like a defensive role player for San Diego State to like a really good stretch for Arizona. And Caleb Love gets chirped, and I'm one of those people that does that, but he's still averaging 18 and 5 or something, right? So Arizona's really good. There's a reason that who are the teams that are minus odds to win their tournaments? It's Arizona, UConn, and Houston. So yeah, Arizona's in that tier. Also, it says something about the Pac-12, but yeah, not a lot of fun stuff to do here unless you think USC is going to beat Arizona a second time in a week, which, like, as you're saying, like, probably not. And then does Colorado have enough juice without Cody? I don't think Utah has enough juice. It brings me back to Wazoo being like sneaky. I just don't know if there's value on plus 500 for Wazoo, but I think Wazoo's had Arizona's number, and
they did sweep them. Yeah, if it's Wazoo Arizona that's in this title game, I would put a big bet on Arizona though. Yeah. Like, no doubt about it. I mean, the line probably would be too much for a big bet, but if it's around like a possession, I'd put a lot on Arizona.
Yeah, they're probably laying what against Wazoo? 7.5, 8 in a championship game.
Yeah, and they looked good last year too. I remember the Pac-12 championship versus UCLA. Like, this is like really their tournament. They play pretty well, and just minus 160 just was a hard price to lay, but they should be a lock for the championship game, and it's either going to be Colorado or Washington State. I wouldn't mind fading them versus Colorado just if Cody Williams is playing, just because of their NBA talent, how they match up. Like on paper, they match up pretty well. They just really, Arizona just played amazing at Colorado when they blasted them. But I mean, you'd be getting a few points here, like probably 6, 7, 8, somewhere around there. Like, I'd be interested in Colorado for sure.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. Like, Colorado, there's a reason that they were favored against Arizona at home. There were multiple reasons why, but when Arizona comes in and is playing with pace and they're hitting threes, like, good luck. Like they're a top 5 team right now, probably at worst top 6, 7, and that's with them having some blemishes on their resume, right? Like, you lose double digits at Stanford, at USC, and you lost to Oregon State, right? And you got swept by Wazoo. So they have some times where you're kind of shaking your head a bit with them, but Arizona at their best is nasty. Yeah. Like, Arizona at their best is a team that can beat Purdue and UConn and Houston, like 100%. So that's what you're getting from them. That's why this number is what it is. And yeah, but like I said, I have a future on them to win the NCAA, all of March Madness. I just don't feel that good about it. And even if they rip through this tournament and win by 20 each game, it still won't take away the little bit of doubt I do have in this team to bring it consistently.
Yeah, people love to hate on, like, Tommy Lloyd and Arizona, and I get it. Like, they did lose to Princeton last year in round 1. But I mean, at the end of the day, I like the roster way more this year. Like, I think Love's way better than Krisa. I know, like, I think it was like 2 years ago they lost to Houston in the Sweet 16 or the Elite 8 maybe. And Tommy Lloyd's only gone better as a coach, and he's more experienced now. I honestly don't believe in the narrative like Arizona's not a team of March this year. I mean, same could be said for Tennessee. Like everyone loves to hate on Rick Barnes and all his March blunders, but I don't see that narrative being true this year for either team, honestly. And like you said, Arizona at their best has one of the highest ceilings in all of college basketball.
I will say on that Arizona Tennessee point, I just trust Tennessee way more, and it's not just.
Well, they have one of the best players in the country with Dylan next, so I would agree with that, but. Everyone just thinks Arizona's gonna lose round one again. Like, bro, people like
no, they're not
casuals.
gonna lose round one, but here's what you need to remember: not only did they lose to Houston, they should have lost to TCU the game before. That's my bigger takeaway.
But they didn't though.
I know, but come on, they got okay. If you almost lose to TCU and then go make the Final Four, no one cares. But if you
there's no shame in losing to Houston though. There's zero shame in that.
No, exactly. I'm just saying
they lost it. I mean,
I don't know. It's not just that. It's the fact that over the last 2 seasons, there's just games where they don't show up. And it's like there's just head-scratching moments. Like Tennessee doesn't really give you head-scratching moments. Like you lost to South Carolina. That's not like a whoa. But when Arizona loses to Stanford and to Oregon State, that's when
that's what happens. That's what happens when you have Caleb Love as your point guard, though. But I will say,
in the tournament.
I feel like when the lights shine the brightest, like he does play a lot better. I will say. In big games, he plays big.
How many times it was the FAU game? I think the Washington State game. But there are games where when the Utah triple overtime game, there are games when it gets late and Arizona just goes, all right, Caleb Love, go. And I understand that there's times where, all right, Caleb Love, go works. And it got North Carolina to a championship game and it almost got him a national title. But I still just don't love when it's, all right, Caleb Love, go. And Arizona at their best is when they're not even in situations like that because they're just dominating you defensively and they're getting whatever they want offensively because the ball's not sticking. And one of their most impressive performances of the year is, other than that, Colorado ones. Remember when they played Alabama? They made Alabama look stupid, and that was
they crushed them.
They crushed them. I'm still attached to and they looked like they were going to run FAU off the floor, but then FAU
they
just
played well with Purdue as well too.
Yeah, they did play Purdue well. That FAU game left a bad taste in my mouth too because FAU was so much more composed and so much more. And Davis was better guard.
FAU's a whole nother case and story though. Like you want to talk about a team who plays down their competition,
true,
and up to their competition. It's FAU. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, all that aside, doesn't seem like there's any bet that we love on this tournament. What's good about this tournament is after fun days of hoops. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you've always got more because of these late tip times. So, y'all will be tuning in. Maybe something fun and unexpected will happen, but we're expecting Arizona to roll here, right, Nick?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Like, subscribe, drop in the comments if you think anything crazy is going to happen, and we'll see you next time.